It's the middle of January, and many of us are feeling the effects of winter. Some call it the winter blues, some call it seasonal affective disorder. Whatever it is, we're all feeling a little blah. Our energy is low, our sleep is affected, we might be a little moody, and we cannot wait for spring. In today's episode of Reset Monday, I'm going to talk about some quick, actionable things that you can do to reset yourself so that we can get past these winter blues, because spring is still a few weeks away. So what do we do to protect ourselves? See, we go through this each and every year. So I want you to have the tools that you need to make sure that you are being proactive and taking care of yourself and the winter blues before it actually becomes a big problem for you. So we're always going to talk about movement and nutrition and hydration and light, but it's even more important that you pay attention to these types of practices now in the winter, especially for you women out there. A lot of my perimenopausal and menopausal women are talking about their hormones, and they're just kind of feeling like they are on a roller coaster. The more you can take care of yourself through the winter season, the better you'll be able to help your hormones regulate. And it won't seem like such a weird and wacky roller coaster of a ride in your life. So the lack of sunlight actually affects our melatonin, it affects our serotonin, and these hormones are critical to our brain health. So let's talk about melatonin for a minute. Melatonin is actually supposed to come up when it gets dark. And then cortisol, which is our stress hormone, tends to go down. And when melatonin comes up, that's when we start to get a little sleepy. That is helping to prepare our bodies for nighttime to go to bed. But what do? We sit in front of TVs, we sit in front of our phone, and we continue to put light into our eyes, which doesn't allow that melatonin to come up the way it needs to for us to really be able to start to get into a sleepy state that will give us good quality sleep. The best way to do that is not always just to go take melatonin, but if you can tone the lights down at least an hour before bedtime and get rid of the screens and maybe just read with a low light, then those are things that will actually help that melatonin to come up and help you become sleepy so you can fall asleep easier. Oftentimes we go to bed with a full brain, this brain chatter that we have going on. And so if you can take some steps to then allow your body to relax towards bedtime, then you'll notice that you'll be able to fall asleep faster and then hopefully stay asleep. And one of the best tools that I like to use is a journal at night. And I call it the brain dump exercise. So you literally just want to dump what's in your brain into that journal each and every night. And what that does is that actually allows your brain to turn off so you can go to sleep. Because when we go to bed with all those thoughts in our brain, what are we doing? We just think about it all night long. We're ruminating on it. I forgot to do this. I should have done that. I got to do this tomorrow. I have to call so-and-so. Well, doing the brain dump exercise is a wonderful opportunity for you to just give yourself permission to turn your brain off and go to sleep. It's one of my favorites. If you're lucky enough to wake up in the morning and the sun is shining during the winter days, go to the door, go to the door wall, go to a window, and allow that light just to shine on you. Now, you're going to filter out a lot of the spectrum of light that's beneficial from like a vitamin D perspective, but just getting that sunlight on you, it really will help your mood. There's something about sunshine that even if you can't be outside in it, if it's too cold, it does make us pretty happy, doesn't it? Now, there's 4 key nutrients that I always recommend through winter. And actually, these nutrients you could take year round and they would still be of great benefit. Vitamin D is the #1 supplement that you should be taking. Now, the best way to get vitamin D is with full body exposure in the summertime. But unfortunately, it's winter. So what do? There are foods that we can eat that are high in vitamin D. So you can do fatty fish, egg yolks. Mushrooms are very high in vitamin D. But the problem is we can't eat enough of these foods to get the levels that we need. And the RDA for vitamin D is only 400 units. And what that means is that that level is just enough to keep you from getting rickets or soft bones. Well, we want to optimize health. We're not here to just prevent one little disease. We want to be fully optimized. So if you want full optimization of your brain health, your nervous system, your gut. Vitamin D has even been shown to help combat cancer. The higher the vitamin D levels are, the less likely you are to get the flu or COVID. So vitamin D is very protective for your immune system and for your overall health. And typically the studies show that you want to be at about 4,000 units or higher, and preferably something that has some vitamin K in it, because that'll help the vitamin D get into the bones. So vitamin D is one of the biggest supplements that you want to be taking. The next one is omega-3s. Omega-3 fatty acids are very anti-inflammatory. They're excellent for brain health. So the more we can take care of our brains, the better our mood is going to be, that we can actually help affect anxiety, depression, ADD, ADHD, and of course, overall sleep. So increasing your foods with omega-3s, super helpful. I do feel like we need to supplement with omega-3s though as well, because we're going to find omega-3s in fatty fish, nuts, seeds. We can't eat enough fish to get the omega-3s that we need, because our fish population, even if you're getting wild caught fish, it can still be quite toxic. And what we find too is people who eat a lot of canned fish tend to be high in heavy metals. So I would definitely limit yourself to 1 to 2 servings of fish per week, and then try to supplement with a really high quality omega-3 fatty acid supplement. And I would make sure that it's from fish, from small fish, and I would be looking at probably anywhere from 2,000 to 3,000 units a day. Magnesium is another one of my favorites. Magnesium is also wonderful for brain and nervous system health. It helps to keep you calm. So magnesium can be so beneficial for mood. I also find that when my patients have really tight muscles, that they are deficient in magnesium. So I will put them on magnesium supplements, and it actually helps to soften up the muscles. So if you're somebody who struggles with a lot of muscle tension and muscle pain and tightness and stiffness, then you might want to increase your magnesium intake. And magnesium is going to vary for each person, but I typically, personally, I take anywhere from 200 to 500 milligrams a day. And it depends. If I'm extra sore from a workout, I might bump that up a little bit. And then, of course, B vitamins. B vitamins are, again, helpful for brain and nervous system. Do you sense a pattern here? So we want our B vitamins to help our nerve impulses to function properly, to help us think clearly. Our brains require B vitamins. And if we want to think better, if you want to sleep better, if you want to relate to other people better, then add those B vitamins in there. There's a multitude of good, healthy foods that you can get from B vitamins. And then you can also supplement with B vitamins as well. But magnesium and B vitamins, you can get a lot of that from your food. There's so many great healthy sources of B vitamins and magnesium from a food perspective. And then you can just choose your high quality supplement on top of that. Some of my favorites would be like a handful of walnuts. If I need a snack, you're going to get the omega-3s in there. They're going to be high in magnesium. They're going to be high in B vitamins. And so you can really kill a couple of birds with one stone there. And then we have to discuss movement. Typically winter, we want to slow down. We don't feel like moving all that much, but it's important that we continue to move. I know I don't move as much as I would like to in the winter, but I do. I have discipline. I'm not necessarily motivated to get up and go to the gym, but I do anyway because I'm disciplined. So as long as you have discipline and drive, you can actually continue to do the things that you're going to do that are going to be helping to optimize your health. So what can you do for movement? I love yoga. Yoga is wonderful. I do a very intense form of yoga called vinyasa. It's not for everybody because it is pretty intense, but what it does is it gives me strength, flexibility, balance, coordination. I'm getting my mind-body workout in there, and I'm getting cardiovascular as well. So in 1 hour, I get a mass quantity of benefits from yoga. Then strength training, especially as we get older, especially women, my perimenopause and menopausal women, I'm getting them into the gym. You've got to start lifting weights. You really have got to start challenging your muscles, because our muscles are very metabolically active. And when we're talking about, are my hormones jacked up because I'm in menopause or I'm going to perimenopause, the more muscle mass you have on you, the more protective you're going to be to help your body get through that time. So I definitely encourage exercise, even more so. Tend to be naturally active in the summertime, but in the wintertime, it does seem like it takes a little bit more effort. So I would encourage you to get a partner, go to classes, do something where there's accountability, where you get to know people, you build a community, you get to look forward to seeing certain people when you go exercise, and those people will look forward to seeing you too. So it really can be a wonderful way to stay connected, so we don't disconnect in the winter. That's really easy to do. I know I don't really like going anywhere, but again, I force myself to do it. And winter months can be really hard on us. So getting out and having some socialization, it will be very beneficial to your mental health through this winter time. Okay, so that was it. Those are my 3 simple steps. We need to get a little more light. We need to definitely make sure we're having the proper nutrients, and then of course get your movement in. And just strategizing, which one is going to work best for you. And as you go through this time, as you start to implement these things, just really simply implementing some of these things, you will start to feel a little bit better about yourself. And of course, I did mention doing the brain dump at night with your journal. Make sure, please do that, and always put in there what you're grateful for, what you want to see happen the next day, and project gratitude on your next day. All right, I hope that was helpful. Please share this with somebody who might need a little pick me up for these winter months. Thanks so much for being here. And